Hey everybody, Mary here. Epic Destinies, they've been revamped. We're going to go over them all. We're going to talk about the basics. We're going to take a look at each Destiny and see what's what works, what doesn't work, the basic breakdown. We're going to get into it all so you guys can have a clue what's going on. It's a lot to cover today, so we're going to jump right in. So the first thing that you want to do when you log in after this update 51 is activate your new destinies. They are not activated automatically. The old system was swept away completely. So what you need to do is activate the new one. So what you need to do is get on your character, and you'll need to do this for every character. Once they hit level 20, and you do this one time, you only have to do this once, but you need to find an epic trainer. You find the epic trainer, and then you say, please send me to the Junction of the Spheres. This is a new zone that they made for this update, and it's going to send you to this mystical place called the Junction of the Spheres. You can see it's sort of out in space somewhere. And there are 4 rooms off of this, and then in the middle here is an epic trainer. Once you come here and you go into each of these 4 rooms, you'll find the NPCs for each of the destiny. You need to talk to all of them. So we'll start here in the Marshall tree. And what you want to do is have a conversation with each of them, and what this will do is unlock the destiny for you, and it will also grant you 3 fate points. Now, in this new system, it's really convoluted, but it helps to remember that for every 3 fate points, you get 1 destiny point. And the destiny points are the points that you spend in these trees. So for example, if I click that, I have spent 1 destiny point. You can see it says destiny point cost 1. So fate points are very important. You want to get as many fate points as possible, because for every 3 that you have, you get 1. Which means if you have 21 fate points, you would have 7 destiny points to spend in the new tree. So you can see it's very important then to talk to all of these characters, because each one grants you 3. So 3, 6, 9. I just got 9 here. And now I will go into the next area. It looks like a library. This is the Arcane Sphere. Talk to the Fate Singer. Talk to the Draconic Incarnation Dragon. Talk to the Wizard. That's a new destiny, Magus of the Eclipse. That replaces Magister. And we'll talk about the details. So every one of these gives you 3 fate points, so make sure you do this. You want to talk to them all. Even if it's a destiny you'll never use, just come in and talk to them all. Now, you're not seeing the point grant on my character because I've already done this, but I'm running you through it so you can see. This is just very important to do. You want to talk to all of them. Okay, so that granted us 9 fate points per. That means that we were granted 36 fate points for talking to all of these people. You can look at the DDO forums. People have done a breakdown of the total points. It's just really important to keep in mind that fate points are important because they turn into destiny points. Why they did it this way, who knows? But this is the system that we got. It's up to you whether or not you want to put everything into 1 tree, or whether you want to jump into 2 trees, or whether you want to use your points into 3. The system is gated, so what that means is if you look certain skills require certain levels. So this first one here is level 20. This second one is level 23. This third one is level 26. And they do the same thing going up. So tier 1 and tier 2 are level 20. And then on tier 3 here, this is level 23. And then on tier 4, it's 26. And then at the top, tier 5, it's level 30 or beyond. They plan to raise the level cap with the next expansion. Something to consider when you're making your character, that these tier 5s are exclusive, meaning you can only be in one tier 5, and they are only accessible at level 30, so you won't be able to use them until you're finished, you're at endgame. Another thing about this system that's really important to understand, 3 very important concepts. You have a mantle, you have a strike, and you have a moment. So mantle, strike, moment. Each one of them is exclusive. In other words, you can only have one mantle. So even though all of the destinies, each one has a mantle, you can only ever have one active mantle at a time. Now you could put points into the mantle for all 3 of these. This is the angelic form. This is the mantle for exalted angel. Attuned to the arcane is the mantle for draconic incarnation. And serenity is the mantle for grandmaster flowers. As an example, those were the 3 that I have selected. I could put points in all of those and then pin them here. You can see I was in angelic exalted angel, so I have the mantle pinned here. I could then pin this and this, and what I would be able to do is select the mantle on the fly. As I was questing, I would be able to change it, hot swap it. I wouldn't need to spend points or anything. I could just hot swap it. Now, that may not be something you wish to do because that's going to dilute your points, but it's important to understand that about mantles. You really can only benefit from one of them at a time. You're allowed to select more than one, but you cannot have more than one active. And the same thing goes for epic strikes. Each destiny has what's called an epic strike, and that is an attack that you can use. A really good example of that is this Grandmaster Flower Grandmaster Strikes. You can see it says in blue epic strike, and all the epic strikes, there's one in each tree, will be named, and you may select epic strikes from multiple trees. So I could select the epic strike from this tree, and this tree, and I could do the same thing. I could pin them on my bar, but they all share the same global cooldown, so you can only use one. Something else to consider. So you can only be in one mantle, and you can only benefit from activating one epic strike at a time. Now, you may decide that you want to have multiple tree epic strikes, but again, because you don't get that many destiny points, you will notice that your power, if you want to gain more power higher up the tree, you're going to have to spend more just in one tree. It becomes rather difficult to put lots of points in multiple trees. And then the last part is epic moment, and every destiny has an epic moment. And an epic moment, they all share the same trait. You can only have one epic moment trained because it's a tier 5 ability. You can only use them at level 30, and they all share a 5-minute cooldown. Some of them last for 20 seconds, some of them last for 30 seconds, and some last for 40 seconds. But once you activate them, they go on a 5-minute cooldown. Now, you cannot take multiple epic moments because it's a tier 5 ability and it's exclusive. You can only have one tier 5. in any destiny. That's it. It will lock out the rest. So you need to decide what tree you want to live in at tier 5. So just to show you a little bit about my character. This character does not have many past lives at all. I have 1 paladin past life, so I am a second life tune. That is about it. She's spec'd as a fire sorcerer, and she has a few tomes on her. She has the Tome of Fate +3. What does that mean? That grants me 1 destiny point for having that +3 Tome of Fate. Now, they do have a thing now where you can trade in Tomes of Fate that you're not going to use and get purified Eberron Dragon Shards, I think. But right now, that only works for the actual Tome of Fate. It doesn't work for upgrade tomes, which I have a bunch of upgrade tomes that I have not been able to utilize. So, now that we've activated all of our destinies, you can see that once we've activated all the destinies, and you can see here they all are. So I'm going to unset them all because I want this to be clear. You can have 3 set, but for the purposes of our video, we are going to go over these one at a time. And so what I'm going to do is I have 55 destiny points on this character. This character is level 30 sorcerer. And what we are going to do is spend the points in these trees. Now, there's a lot of stuff in these trees that I will not be able to use because I'm not a rogue, and this tree is geared towards rogue. But what you can see in the core, in the first core, this is how you tell what the tree is for. What powers are granted to you in the first core is an explanation of what the tree does, who it's made for. So you can see that shadow training in this tree grants me 1 epic DC, spell DC, 5 melee power, 4 ranged power, a sneak attack die, 50 spell points, and 5 force and universal spell power. That is granted to me for taking that 1 point. So what does that mean? Well, I can clearly see I get spellcaster DCs, spell points, force, and universal spell power. So this tree works for a caster, most likely because it's granting me force and universal. It would be a wizard illusionist, likely, because if you have access to the Feydark illusionist tree, this is all force and illusion magic. So the other thing that Shadow Dancer grants is 5 melee power and 4 ranged power. So that means that it could be utilized either by a ranged or a melee tune. You will find that all of the cores for all of the various abilities will grant you various things that are equal power. And so something else to keep in mind as you're spending these is that these bonuses, if they are typed, do not stack. So for example, this shadow training grants +1 epic bonus to spell DCs. Well, if I then go into the Magus of the Eclipse and I spend a point, you can see that it reads that this tree core grants 50 spell points, 5 cold, negative, and force, 5 universal, and it also grants +1 epic bonus to all spell DCs. Because epic bonus is a typed bonus, that means that these 2 spell DC will not stack. So that's something to keep in mind, that while selecting 2 may make you think that they stack, they don't stack. The only stacking that occurs is when you take a core 2 and then a core 3. Now, we are going to experiment and try to figure out exactly what's going on with the system and where power is coming from. So bear with me while we deal with some of these details, but I just want you guys to get the very basics. So you can tell, Shadow Dancer, like I said, melee, ranged, caster. And in this, you can also see, so here are some skills for a rogue. Here is Assassinate if you are on another rogue. This is spell points and spell power. We're not going to go over every single tree, but I just want to give you guys a sense of when you're reading this, you'll see very quickly as you go through these trees that there are a lot of abilities that will be so general because these destinies are meant to be utilized by multiple different classes, that many of the skills will be unnecessary for you, just a waste of destiny points. It's one of the problems I identified very quickly with this new system, that the buy to get something useful is unfortunately very expensive, and you buy a lot of stuff that you probably will never use, or stuff that really isn't that helpful for your build. It's unfortunate that you can't really focus that down. Join us for more. I plan to do lore videos for each quest in DDO, as well as the raids. Plus, I will be releasing more Session 0 videos for DDO on topics such as player character races, the religions of Eberron, the last war, and the Mournlands, the dragon marks, the dragon marked houses, and much, much more. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below. I like interacting with other players. My main tune in DDO is named Mary. I am on Sarlona. I also have a guild on the Hardcore League. My guild is Death Smile. Please say hi if you're on either of those servers. Subscribe to see more Adventure AI content about DDO, Dungeons & Dragons Online, and gaming in general. I also play Star Wars The Old Republic. You can join us at Adventure AI on Discord. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on Twitter. You can go to our Patreon and become a patron of the channel, where you would get access to all of the scripts, the images, the music, the videos, as well as behind the scenes, and the ability to request topics for me to make future videos. Thanks very much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope your adventures go well.